Hey guys, Steve here from Australia MMA. I'm going to give you my thoughts on UFC 221 and what happened. Tai Tuivasa versus Askar knocked him out in the first round. He got in a couple really good elbows early on and then got another one up on the cage. That was pretty much the end for Askar. It's sort of what I predicted because Askar's not really a striker and he's not really at the top of that division. I don't see Askar really going anywhere, and considering his size, that he just cannot compete with the top end of that division. Him versus Tai was a bit of a mismatch, and I sort of knew that was going to happen. But in saying that, Tai, I believe, is a good addition to that heavyweight division. He has the power to end any fight, but so does a lot of other fighters in that division, because there's a lot of strikers in that division, and you can get to the top of the division with just striking alone. But when you get to the champion, maybe Stipe or the Cain Velasquez, that's going to wrestle you, that's where a lot of these top end heavyweights really do get tested and they come up flawed. I would like him for his next opponent to face someone that is the same striking caliber, someone like Andre Arlovski, Stefan Struve, someone like that, because he needs to be tested a bit more, not just being given a lamb to the slaughter sort of thing. So hopefully we're moving forward with Tai, that they can build him up slowly over a couple of years, because he will need a decent ground game going up into the high end of that division, into the top 5. Versing Fabricio Werdum might just take him to the ground and choke him out or something like that. We don't really know what he has in store. Moving on, Mark Hunt versus Curtis Blaydes. Now that fight nearly ended in the first round if Mark Hunt jumped on him a bit better when he went to the ground. He went to one knee, and he was a bit reckless with his strikes, but he nearly ended Curtis Blaydes' night, and that was a little bit of a concern, but Curtis recuperated and went to his wrestling basics again, and he out-wrestled Mark Hunt. And knowing Mark Hunt doesn't like to wrestle, and he just loses sight of a win. He doesn't know how to win out of the knockout. So once he sapped his energy, he just grounded out the win. In my prediction, I sort of said that Curtis might just grind a win out, because Mark Hunt does have a chin on him, and these wrestlers haven't really been hitting him too hard on the ground, and it was a bit of a boring fight, yes, because everyone thought that Mark Hunt was going to get the knockout, but I knew that Curtis was a wrestler. So after he felt the power of Mark Hunt, he thought to himself, I'm not going to stand here with this guy, because he's never really been rocked that hard before. But I'm glad that he did go back to his game plan, because if he decided to keep on standing, that would have been the end for Curtis. But a smart game plan, and he's there to win. So whether it's boring or exciting, they will try to win at the top of that division. It doesn't matter how they do it. I'm just glad that he grounded out the win there. I would like Curtis to fight someone like Derek Lewis next. I think that would be a phenomenal matchup. I think Derek Lewis would be good for Curtis to fight. Sort of the same height, but I don't think he has a strong wrestling background either, though. So Curtis might be able to fight the top end of that division. He did fight Ngannou before, but obviously they stopped it because of the eye. But Curtis is a good addition, really, because I believe that he can compete with the top end of that division because of his wrestling, and he could pose some trouble for like the Stipes and the Cain Velasquez. Anyway, moving on from that, I would like to talk about the Rockhold and Yoel Romero fight. Now, that was a good fight. Yoel Romero, even though he got the knockout on Rockhold, his leg was very injured. And I felt that if it went on any longer than it did, maybe another round, I believe that Yoel Romero would be not able to walk on that leg. He was very hurt on that leg checking those kicks. And Rockhold's jab was sensational, and you could see it was bothering Yoel Romero. But again, Rockhold still hasn't addressed dropping that hand and getting clipped by the overhands. He leans back and he just scurries back to the cage backwards. He doesn't, like I said before in my other predictions video, he doesn't have lateral movements. So he just almost tries to run away from the shots in a direct line. And that's concerning. Everyone knows what Rockhold's going to do now, and they're going to expose his game plan every time. No matter what his game plan is, they know that he's going to go backwards. So where are we going to sit with Rockhold in the future? I'm not sure, because he seriously needs to address it, but he's not going to. He's starting to get an aged fighter. Yoel Romero is explosive. He knew this, but yet he did not address it at all. Yoel Romero was not going to go to the ground because he knew that Rockhold would probably and could submit him. So he had a smart game plan just to take him out. And Yoel Romero seems to finish people in the third round. He has a good thing on that. So he always finishes people later on in the fight. It almost lures them into a false sense of security and then takes them out later on in that fight. But it was a close fight nevertheless, and it was a hard fight to predict because they were such good fighters. Where does Yoel Romero go from here? I suspect that he will fight Robert Whittaker again. He did miss weight, so he didn't get the interim title. Where does Rockhold go from here? I think that either he fights Weidman again or Calvin. And I think that would be a good fight for him, Calvin Gustafsson, because Calvin has really good striking, and I believe that he would probably destroy Rockhold, knowing that he fights backwards. But if he knows he's not going to take it to the ground. No one wants to go to the ground with Rockhold, so they know if they can outstrike him, they will destroy him, because they know that most of the time he's not going to initiate the takedown. And on that note, that's my thoughts on UFC 221. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. If you like the content, just like and share and sub if you can, and leave a like or a dislike. And thank you again, and I'll see you next time.